Or how about in Luke chapter 7? Luke chapter 7, we have John the Baptist is in prison. He's wondering now, was I right? Is Jesus really the promised Messiah? John the Baptist sends, in the book of Luke chapter 7, he sends a couple of his disciples to Jesus to ask them, are you he that should come, or should we look for another? And Jesus' response was very interesting. Jesus did not just say yes or no, but instead Jesus says, then Jesus answering said to them, go your way and tell John what things you have seen and heard. How that the blind see, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, to the poor the gospel is preached. Now I want to ask you, what kind of an answer is that? Here's poor John the Baptist in prison. He wonders. I did say that Jesus was the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world, but maybe I was mistaken. And so he sends his disciples to ask, are you the Messiah? Are you the Lamb that is to come? And instead of just saying, yes, I am, Jesus says, go and tell John what you've seen and heard. Tell John that the blind are seeing, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, to the poor the gospel is preached. You see, Jesus knew that John would recognize that statement, because what Jesus was doing here was quoting from Isaiah chapter 35, verses 4 through 6. In Isaiah 35, 4 through 6, we read these words. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then the lame man shall leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. Jesus knew, John knew his Bible. And Jesus knew that if John's disciples went back to him in prison and said, John, here's what we're seeing. Jesus is opening the eyes of the blind. He's opening the ears of the deaf. Lame people are leaping like deers. They knew that John would say, oh, that is the book of Isaiah, which says when your God comes, the ears of the deaf will be open, and the eyes of the blind will be open, and the lame will leap as deers. He knew that John would recognize that he was saying, yes, I am the promised one. And not only that, also, Jesus was quoting a verse that says, this is what will happen when God comes.